building an inspiring vision. Now, in this video, I want to help you to put a framework together to create an inspiring vision, something that you can use to help you navigate over the next 90 days, 6 months, and 12 months. You see, most of my career in the fitness industry, from the age of, say, 25, 26, is as a result of a vision. Now, in the early days, it wasn't anywhere near as detailed as it is today. So let me start off by just talking about vision planning. A lot of coaches that I come across procrastinate, frustrate, or get frustrated because they don't know where they're going. They say they want to achieve something, all right, but there's no strategy. When it comes to getting somebody in shape for 12 weeks, 24 weeks, a year, if you look at periodization in sport and you map out what has to happen, let's say the Olympics, you have a macro goal of achieving the Olympics in 4 years. For bodybuilding, you have 19 to 20 weeks for prep. You have macro, okay? Meso and micro cycles. You break these down into micro phases, but there is a goal of where we're trying to get to. And there's planning and there's strategy. Now, what's wonderful in bodybuilding, physique training, marathon training, triathlon training, CrossFit training, high rocks training, whatever it is, there's a strategy and you do the work and it's a proven framework, you'll get to where you want to get to. In business, if you have a realistic, it's not like me wanting to turn into, Phil Heath. It's not realistic. Bodybuilding. You have something that's realistic and you have a time frame that's realistic, and then you create a strategy. It could be that you hire somebody to help you with the strategy because that's a smart thing to do. Talk to people, get people's advice. In business, if you have a goal of going from 5K to 20K, there is not one person watching this video today that can't make 25K plus online. Not one. And I say that with absolute confidence because I've done it with hundreds of coaches. Coaches that didn't think it was possible. Have you got to have a strategy? Have you got to change a lot of things? Have you got to be a different person? Have you got to study certain things? Have you got to apply things? You've got to hire people. Yep. But is it possible? Absolutely. Now, when is it not possible? When is vision planning not possible? The only time when things don't happen, you'll know it yourself. I want to make 25 grand a month. I want to look like this. I'd love to live here. Cool. But then every day you're unfulfilled and you're unhappy because it doesn't seem to be happening. The only reason when vision planning doesn't work is that you don't take action. And you don't take action because you don't know what needs to be done. I blow my own mind when things happen. I sit there and I'm like, still every single time blows my mind that what I'm doing and what I've achieved is the result of me writing the specifics of what I want to have happen. Only recently I was like, you could be doing your job every single day easily and you're making money and the business is moving forward and you just feel meh. You could be coaching clients, business could be moving forward, you could be getting new clients, you could be making money and you go meh. It's because the idea of the mundane, the idea of the same, it's not inspiring. We need something further ahead. We always need something further ahead. If there isn't anything that you're working towards, something bigger, then all that happens in your life is you do one or two things. You're not inspired and you end up feeling pretty low. Now, your feeling low is something else, something going on. Maybe my testosterone level's low. Maybe my training or my sleep's off. Like when my alarm goes off at 6:15, I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do. I know who I need to speak to. I know. Imagine what your life would be like if that was the case. It's not the case because you don't have a plan. So when it comes to vision planning, it essentially, to help you understand, is a written down framework of where you want to get to and a reverse engineered process with not necessarily day-to-day tasks, but strategy outlining if these things happen, it'll equal this. It requires some work, requires some planning. So let me talk you through this. Now, in the early days of vision planning, I would tell people that it needs to be at least 5 years ahead. And I changed my thought process because a lot of coaches that I speak to, whether there's a bit of self-doubt or low self-confidence, whatever it may be, thinking 5 years ahead is just too far. So I urge you to think about 12 months. I urge you to think about 6 months. And I urge you to think about 90 days, okay? The first thing we're going to do is we're going to think a year ahead. Now, what is the first thing you need to do in my framework? You need to go somewhere with a notepad. You need to go somewhere quiet with no distractions. And you need to not have a phone. Because what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to sit with your thoughts. I'm going to ask you to spend at least 3 to 4 hours with your thoughts. Now, it wasn't quiet But I remember once going to Whole Foods in London, and I went without my phone. I got a taxi and I got a notepad. And I went to an area of Whole Foods in Kensington in London, and I just sat and I looked. And whilst there were a lot of people in there, I just looked. And slowly, the day-to-day started to escape because I got no way of going on my phone. There was no point me thinking about anything else I could do. And I just allowed my brain to dump. I remember flying back from Dubai before me and my wife moved here. And it was where I had the idea of moving and living here. The plane, I couldn't use my phone, and I would sit there and I would just daydream. And daydreaming is the most wonderful thing when it comes to vision planning, because you start to give yourself permission to say, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? I want you to think as far as you can see. If you can do 5 years, by the way, the further away it is, it just needs to be a macro goal. I want to be living in a different country. So one of my macro goals was to live in Dubai. Okay. And the strategy, I can reverse engineer back 90 days, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, etc. So if you can think further ahead, think further ahead. Okay. If there was absolutely no limitation in the world, there was no limitation, like you just can. And here's a lot of limitations on what family would think, you know, what friends would think, etc. But you need to live a life that's inspiring and fulfilling for you. And very often people struggle with vision planning because they are being challenged by what they think other people expect of them. I know that everybody around me will be great as long as I'm doing what I'm inspired to do the most. Moving to Dubai, having my wife here, you know, obviously moving with my wife, having our son here, you know, it's our life. So step number one is I need to give myself permission to do the things I want. A lot of people watching this will be, I can't leave, I can't do this, I can't go here because of how other people would feel. Do you want to get to the end of your life and have not done something because of other people? So you have to make that decision when you're doing vision planning. What do you want? Then you want to write down, so let's go a year. What needs to happen to get there? Personally, physically, and professionally. Now I say personally, what do you need to change? What needs to happen? Who do you need to become? Physically, does something need to happen within your body, your health, goals? And then professionally, financially, location, team hiring, whatever it needs to be. What needs to happen? So we have the 12-month goal, and you write this down, 12-month goal, 6-month goal, 90-day goal. All right. Now the 90-day goal has to be a stepping stone to the 12-month goal, to the 6-month goal, and the 6-month goal has to be a stepping stone to the 12-month goal. Everything has to link to the 12-month goal. Just wanted to stop the video for 2 seconds. Now, if you find my content helpful and you want to learn more from me, you want access to resources, you want more free trainings and live weekly webinars, then make sure you click the link in the description. Make sure you head over to my Impact and Integrity free Facebook group. Now, let's get on with the video. Who do I want to help me? Now, you know my whole life is a product of mentoring. And only recently I hired a new company to be able to facilitate us in some areas that will get me to where I want to be quicker. So I needed to hire a particular person. I've done that my whole life. What do I need to learn, read, research? Because there needs to be a responsibility for you to be a better person, learn more. And what do I need to add into my life or remove? So who do I need to help me? What do I need to learn? And what do I need to remove or add into my life? Now, the best way of doing vision planning is to write everything as if it's already happened. I'll give you an example. It's 2025. We actually have already done this right now. So we have a beautiful villa that's being built at the moment for me and my family. But I have a vision plan of 2025. We're living in a villa. We've got a pool. We're doing X. My son's doing this. My wife's doing this. I own, and these are some important points, I give myself permission to own and have what I want. Me and my wife have a wish list, all the way down to things like having somebody come to the house with clothes that you can, like a stylist, once a quarter. If there's a few things that you want, having, for me, suits tailored, that even the specifics of this, you know, we have an amazing, somebody that helps us at the villa. And I have detailed everything on my current vision plan. And those that know me that are inside my world will know I have the things that I've already said that I want. And they're not for me to sit here and brag to you. They're me that just saying, I have chosen that those things need to be in my life. And to do that, I need a certain amount of money. And to do that, I need a certain type of business. And to do that, I need a certain amount of team. And to do that, I need to take a certain amount of action. So I write this as it's already happened. So where do I want to live? Where do I want to be traveling to? How much do I want to be making financially? What do I want to have and own? Materialistic or non-materialistic? I have no problem with materialistic things. If I want a nice car, if I want something, then I'll have it. But I'll put it on my vision plan and I'll work towards it. What limitations are in the way, potentially, that need to be removed or moved? What do I want to have? And who do I want to be surrounded by? Where do I want to be surrounded? I heard a great saying years ago. It's called lifestyle by design. Let that sink in for a minute. My life that I live right now, I designed it. If I go back through pads, and you'll be able to see this, and note, but I haven't got the one with me right now, but I have a 4-page vision plan up to 2025. I know what money's in the bank. I know what money's investments. I know what money's in homes that I own. I know where I'm going to visit. I know what my wife and I are going to do together. We know what children we're going to have. All right the way down to who we have as a support network, what we own, both materialistic and non-materialistic. I even know within business how many team members we're going to have. Because here's the thing, to get me to a financial goal that I need, I have to write down how many people need to be in the company. I have to write down what marketing strategies we need to have in place by when. We already know what's going to be happening by the end of 2024, what's going to be happening every single quarter. And that leads me to bringing you back from your 12-month goal to your 6-month goal to your 90-day goal. Working in 90-day goals. How many webinars do we have to do every single quarter? What marketing campaigns have to be in place? Who needs to be trained up? When do we need to do the hiring process? When's our London live events? These are all business. What trips are we going on with my wife? Where are we going to be staying? You know, we've already mapped out 6 months ago where we're going to be living in London when we go back for a month in the summer. There's already vision planned. They're already mapped out. And the funny thing is I, over 2 years ago, created the idea with my wife that we lived in Dubai. And when we lived in Dubai, we were going back to London and having a home for a month that we could have in London that we could stay in. Guess what? 2 years later, what have we done? Rented a home for a month. And so all these things come true and they're realistic because you then work towards the business strategy and you work towards the life strategy and you work towards the physical strategy. And therefore, when you get to the end of 12 months and you go, I did it. Well, of course you did it because you had a plan. So you write everything as if it's 2025. It's 2025. I'm living in a beautiful villa with my wife and my son. My wife's halfway through her pregnancy with a second child. We've got X helping us in the home. We've already done this in terms of registrations. We're going to be traveling here. We've invested this. We're doing this in property and we're buying this and we're investing in that. And my wife now helps out with this. And we sit down, me and my wife, and we talk about what do we want it to look like. And then we write these out and we go, okay, cool. So what needs to happen? Well, we need to inject X amount of revenue to give us X amount of profit. Good. So if we're going to be buying X amount of houses to invest and do, and I need to bring in, let's say, an extra 100,000 a month in revenue, then I need to work back and say, where is that extra 100,000 going to come from? That's going to come from X amount of clients in the program. Well, what have we got to do to market to get X amount of clients in the program? Once we've got X amount of clients in the program, who do we need in place to make sure the clients stay? We get results. Do the current systems match that? And this enables us to have entrepreneurial meetings with the team, with the senior members of the team, and then the coaches, the performance coaches, and then map out what needs to happen. That's where boardroom meetings become really, really exciting. That's where, for me, we start to map out the future. But I can also sit down and help my team with their visions and what they're trying to achieve, because here's something else. When I sit down and do vision planning with my team and talk to them about what they want, if they become stagnant, they don't have a vision. If we realign the vision, they become more inspired. So you see, I get a lot out of doing my vision plan, and I'm a big advocate, believer in this in business. My team will be better if I'm leading from the front. If I'm leading from the front, then I can then speak from a very clear and confident place. When I'm telling my team they need a vision plan, when I'm telling the coaches that we mentor they need a vision plan, it's because I've got a vision plan. And it's because, my genius is at work every single day, making sure that that vision plan happens. And I'll finalize on this point. An intentional life happens. An unintentional life sends you challenges. When you drift through life, you get a load of shit. And you get a load of shit to wake you up to become more intentional about where you want to get to. If your life is not on course right now, you're not being intentional. The more intentional you are of where you want to get to, the more in control you're going to be, the more focused you're going to be, the more inspired you're going to be, the happier you're going to be. And guess what? I guarantee you'll get to where you want to be. I wake up with purpose and intent. I know where I'm going. I know what I've got to do, and I've got to get the right team alongside me to do it. And guess what? I make more money. I'm happier. I have a better life. I have an amazing family. I have an amazing team, and everything comes through. If you're not intentional, you get sent what Dr. John DeMartini calls a nightmare, to wake you up to align yourself with something that's inspiring. I hope you found this helpful. something different for you today, how I map out my life and make things happen. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Put them in the comments below. If you want my help and my team's help getting clear on your vision and making it happen, then click the link in the description. You'll find the links to help you understand how we can help you. And if you are following me on Instagram and you're listening to this right now on iTunes, drop me a message. Share your thoughts if this video has helped you, and also share the podcast. Help more fitness professionals build an inspiring vision like I've helped you to do today. For now, take care, and I shall speak to you soon.